A few of you are joining with your names. If at all you join with your names, we can't give you attendance. So please join with your roll numbers. Yes, one and all. Can you see the PPT, ma? Okay. Please respond whether you are able to see the PPT. My voice is audible. Okay, thank you. Now, before we actually start with the ER model, no? So we were talking about database design, and we are working with the concept of ER model in the previous class. Hope you are listening to that. So we'll be continuing with the ER model. So before we actually start with, what is the use of working with an ER model? What is the use of working with ER model? So maybe I have to call roll numbers and ask, is that the way I need to work out with? Call specific roll number and ask. I see only a few names that are just responding, ma. All the others, what about all the others? What about all the others? It's a graphical approach. I am not asking what ER model is, ma. What is the use of ER? What is the use of ER model? Is 563 there? Is 563 there? Used to represent the real world objects. What is that, Anil? Used to represent real world objects? Can build database quickly, right? Five 520 entities. Okay, real world objects are indirectly entities. Fine. So 563 is not present over here. 520. Okay, I'll ask you the same routine question before we actually work with today's topics, Mark. It helps to describe entities, attributes, and relationships. Fine. Okay. Surya, I'll just ask you how you are able to determine what an entity is, what an attribute is from a given scenario. From a given scenario, how you are able to realize what is an entity, what is an attribute. 7U by the symbols. See, once I come to a conclusion that this particular thing is an entity or an attribute, then only I work with the symbols, right, Anil? So first you have to analyze from a given scenario, you have to what could be acting as what. 7B, is 7B there? Entity is represented by a rectangle, right? 7B. 62. 562. Attributes are represented by oval. Okay, fine. Amma, whatever has been covered until now, is it clear? You have any questions, any doubts in any of the topics? Please put it on the chat in the next 2 minutes. We are done with half of the first unit. So if at all you have any questions, something might be difficult, if at all there's something like that, you please put it on the chat. So only one response. What about all the others, ma? They're just logging in and moving here and there, or what? 7E, 57E. Okay. Is it clear? 57E? Okay. So I'll go with the continuation of ER model, ma. Okay, I hope you can see the PPT shared. So we were talking about database design and ER model in the previous class. And I told you what an ER diagram is, what are the major components of or major symbols that are used in the ER model. So I've given you a briefing about that. Certain symbols that are used in your ER diagram, I've discussed about that. Rectangles to represent entities, ellipses to represent attributes, diamonds for relationships, lines for linking attributes to entities and entities to relationships. Primary key attributes are underlined within your ellipses, and there's something called as double ellipse, which are used to represent multi-valued attributes. So these are symbols and what they are used for. These are some of the symbols and what are the uses of it I've covered in the previous session. Now we'll go more deep into your ER model. So I'm working with the basic components I'll start with an entity. I'm just going through the definition. An entity may be any object, person, place, or to make it simple, it can be something which is termed as a real world object. Okay. And in an ER model, it is represented using a rectangle. Already I told you. Okay. So considering about some real-time examples, I can say that employee is an entity, department is an entity, because these can be distinguishable from other objects that are existing. These can be distinguishable from other objects. So I've taken a small example over here. This is my first entity, employee, and this is my second entity, employee, which is connected using relationships, and the name of the relationship is works for. Employee works for a department. Okay. To make it simple, entity is something which is existing in the real world and which is distinguishable from other objects. Entity is something which exists in the real world and it is distinguishable from other objects. Okay. Now, going with the next component, which is nothing but your attribute. Attribute is termed as the property which is used to describe an entity. It is a property which is used to describe an entity. Okay. And it can or cannot have a value. It can or cannot have a value. Examples of attributes are ID, age, mobile number, name, etc. Okay, so this can be with respect to a student, with respect to an employee, with respect to a customer. So whenever I'm talking about an employee, a customer, those are entities, and those will be having the properties like ID, age, contact number, name, which are termed as the attributes. Okay. So this is a simple example of a student with 4 attributes. So I have joined. Here it is taken as circle, amma. Make this as ellipse. Okay. So student is the name of the entity, ID, phone number, age, name. These are all the attributes, and they are linked with lines. Student entity is linked with ID attribute, a line, which is termed as your link over here. Lines are used for linking attributes to entities and entities to relationships. That is what I told you while I was working with the different symbols that are used. Okay. So this is a small example of your entity. Fine. Next. Going with, we have got different types of entities, different types of attributes. Different types of entities and different types of attributes. So whenever I'm talking about different kinds of entities, you have got something called as a strong entity and something called as a weak entity. So there are 2 different types of entities that are existing. One is strong entity, the other one is a weak entity. Okay. What do you mean by a strong entity? What do you mean by a strong entity? So strong entities are those which has a key attribute. Strong entities are those which has a key attribute. Okay. And that particular key, which is termed primary key, helps in identifying each entity uniquely. The key attribute helps in identifying each entity uniquely. The representation is the same. It is represented by a rectangle, and you have a small example for defining what a strong entity is. I've taken the same student entity, and for that I've taken 5 attributes. I've taken 5 attributes for the student. Okay. Now, I'm terming this as a strong entity. I'm terming this particular entity as a strong entity because, try to understand, I've got 5 attributes over there: name, gender, mobile number, roll number or roll ID, whatever, age. Okay. Out of these 5 attributes, which would be unique for a student? Out of these 5 attributes, which would be unique for a student? So try to understand. Whenever I'm talking about name, name can be similar for 2 students. I can have 2 students with name X. Key attribute, name. Students, there might be n number of female students. So I cannot take gender also as a key attribute. Talking about mobile number, 2 students might be using the same mobile number, or 3 students might be using the same mobile number. So there's no condition, but there's an assumption that 2 or more students can be using the same mobile number. So I cannot take mobile number also as a key attribute. Now talking about age, so there might be n number of students with same age. So there might be a student in your class who is 19 and you might also be 19. So I cannot take age also as it is different from each of the student is roll number. Particular section will be having the same roll number. Hence, I can say that roll number would be the different attribute for each of the students. Hence, there is a chance of me working with a key attribute in this particular student table. Hence, I say that this particular entity is a strong entity. Is it clear why I'm telling that student is a strong entity? Because I have an attribute which can act as primary key attribute, which can act as a primary key attribute. Hence, this particular entity is called as a strong entity. Now, going with the next one, weak entity. There's something called as weak entity. So see, if at all I do not have sufficient attributes, if at all I do not have sufficient attributes to a key attribute, if at all I do not have sufficient attributes to form a key attribute, then I say that that particular entity is called as entity. In order to make it simple, if at all there is no primary key with respect to a particular entity, then I say that it is a weak entity. Okay, and it usually depends on some strong entity for its distinct identity. It usually depends on some other strong entity for distinct identity. Now try to understand the example. I'm working with customer. There is a relationship has and address. Customer has address. Okay. Now, clearly telling you, customer is termed as a strong entity over here because every customer will have a distinct customer ID. Every customer will have a distinct customer ID. Hence, that distinct customer ID act as a key attribute. So I can say that customer is a strong entity. Now talking about address over here, address, I've got three attributes. The first one is town, the other one is locality, the other one state. So there might be n number of customers who might be living in the same town, same state, same locality. I've taken only three attributes here, Amma. I'm least bothered about any other attributes over here. Try to understand that. Okay. Town, state, locality. If at all I say that the first customer's town is T1, state is S1, also T1, S1, L1. Third customer also T1, S1, L1. So all the three values for three different customers are same. Hence, any of these three attributes cannot act as a key attribute. Any of these three attributes cannot act as a key attribute. Hence, I say that this particular entity address is called as weak entity. It is represented using double rectangle. A double rectangle now whenever you are working with a strong entity and a weak entity, the relationship would be a weak relationship. Hence, that is also represented using a in the later stages. As of now, what a strong entity is, what a weak entity is, try to understand. Clear, ma? Okay. So customer is a strong entity because it has enough attributes to form a key attribute. Address is a weak entity because it does not have enough attributes to form a key attribute. Okay. Next, types of attributes in ER model. The next topic, you are going to work with all these different types, Amma, in order to draw an ER model. In order to draw an ER model, you have to understand all these steps. Okay, so the different types of attributes that are existing in your ER model is simple, composite, single valued attributes, key attributes, derived attributes, multi-valued attributes. So these are the different types of attributes that are existing in your ER diagram. Simple, composite, single valued, multi-valued, derived, and key attributes. We'll go to each one of these. It is one which cannot be further divided. So simple attribute is one which cannot be further divided. Now, if at all I talk about a simple attribute, the representation of a simple attribute is done. Student is an entity. Roll number cannot be divided further. Class cannot be divided further. Age cannot be divided further. Roll number, class, and age cannot be divided further. So, say that the attributes over here are called simple attributes. Any problems now? 563, Anil. Something called ID. Any issues? 563. Now, talking about the next category, what is a composite attribute? So composite attributes are the attributes which are made up of other simple attributes. Composite attributes are the attributes which are made up of other simple attributes. Or I can simply say that composite attribute is one which is a combination of other attributes. Combination of other attributes. Example, so it's given over here. So again, I'm working with student entity. There's something called as roll number, address, and name. Roll number, address, and name. Okay. So I told you, roll number is a simple attribute. Roll number is a simple attribute. In the previous slide, I've shown you that. And talking address and name. So address is a combination of street, city, country, and state. Street, city, country, and state. If at all you want to still further divide street, so street is one attribute, city is the other, country, state. All these four together will give me address. Hence, I say that address is a composite attribute over here. Since address is a combination of four other attributes. Address is a combination of four other attributes. Hence, I say that address is a composite attribute. Now, talking about name. Yes, in the previous class I told you. So my name can be a combination of first name, middle name, and last name. First name, middle name, last name. So my name is comprising of three different attributes. Hence, I can say that this particular name is called as a composite attribute. Is called as a composite attribute. Now, how do you represent a composite attribute, or how do you represent this set of attributes in relational model? So how do you convert this into a relational model? Try to think of it for 2 minutes. And if at all you have an idea, just put it on the chat. This is for what, Anil? No, 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 not for composite attribute. That is not for composite attribute. Try to understand the question. I am working with address attribute. Address attribute is, okay, I'll make it simple for you. So I've got now, if at all I want to convert this student entity into a table, my schema would be like student. In that, I will have role, class, followed by age. This is my schema definition of student. Is it right or wrong? So I can say that I can convert this entity into a table taking this particular schema. And after this, what I can do, I can write a create statement, create table student, roll number integer, class maybe variable character, and age again an integer. I can do this way. Now, what I want you to do is, for this particular thing, for name attribute, you have to write the schema. For name attribute, write the schema. So I'll say stude student. What would be the attributes for? Yes, ma'am. Seven U. Six E. First name, middle name, last name. Right, good. So try to understand, ma. I'm writing two schemas over here. One is name, F name, M name, L name. This is the first one. And I'll take the second one, student, name, and L name. Which one is the current representation of name with respect to student entity? That is what you have to understand while you're working with composite attributes. What is name over here? Name is a combination of F name, M name, L name. So if at all you are trying to write the same thing again, there is no use. So whenever you are with F name, M name, L name, you can indirectly get the name of the person or name student. So F name plus M name plus L name gives you name. Yes or no, ma? First name plus middle name plus last name gives you the name. Yes or no? Yes or no? So is it required for you to write name followed by F name, M name, L name? Is it required by you to write again name, or you can get it indirectly? We can get operator in order to understand that. Student name of F name, M name, L name is not right, Shravya. Okay, again, the MySQL server will try to throw an error, assuming whether name is an entity or student is an entity. Okay, right, ma? Is it clear? So whenever you're working with a combination of attributes, you work with concatenation operators. Okay, next, single valued attributes. So whenever you feel that your attribute should contain only a single value, only one value for that particular entity, then you say that particular attribute is a single valued. You work with only a particular value. Okay. Again, the representation is the same. So no student will have 2 ages. No student will have 2 ages. No student will have 2 genders. That is the way you have to understand. So age is single valued, date of birth is single valued, and gender is single valued. Hence, I say that all the 4 attributes over here are single valued attributes. And out of those, roll number is a key attribute. Roll number is a key attribute. Okay. Next, talking about multi-valued attribute. Talking about multi-valued attribute. So if at all you feel like a particular attribute have more than one value for a given entity, one value for a given entity, then you say that that particular attribute is a multi-valued attribute. And a multi-valued attribute is represented using double ellipse. So this is the representation of your multi-valued attribute. Okay. So talking about the same student entity, I've got roll number, which is the key attribute, age, it is your single valued attribute. Now mobile number. Every student can have more than one mobile number. Every student can have more than one mobile number. So for a particular entity called student, every student or some of the students might have 2 mobile numbers. Hence, the mobile number attribute is represented using double ellipsis, which is nothing but your multi-valued attribute. Which is nothing but your multi-valued attribute. Similarly, email ID. So if at all I restrict that you should only have one email ID, then this would be a simple attribute or a single valued attribute. But there is no restriction, hence I can take email ID as your multi-valued attribute. Is it clear, ma'am? Next, derived attributes. Next is derived attribute. These are the attributes that can be derived from other attributes. So derived attribute is one which can be derived from other attributes. In the previous session, I have given you. I wanted to find your age given DOB. That is what I have taken over here. Okay. So I'm taking the student. Here, age is a derived attribute which is represented using dotted ellipses. So derived attribute is represented using dotted ellipse. Since I've got DOB, since I've got DOB in the student table, I can get value of age by subtracting DOB from the current date of the system. From the current date of the system, if at all I subtract DOB, I'll be getting the age. Since age is derived from other attributes, DOB, I can say that age is a derived attribute. That's it. One is key attribute. Key attribute is something which uniquely identifies an entity in an entity set. What is entity set? I'll let you know. Are those which can uniquely identify an entity, or I can say it can uniquely identify a particular row. Now it is represented using an ellipse, and the name of the attribute is underlined. It is represented using an ellipse, and the name of the attribute is underlined. Kinds of attributes that you are ER model. So brief description of different kinds of attributes is written over here. Go through the slide for 2 minutes. The slide for 2 minutes. If at all you have any questions, you can ask. Yes, ma, you have any questions? Okay. The last one, relationship. As you already know, a relationship is represented by a diamond symbol, and it shows the relationships that are existing among entities, or the association among different entities is called as a relationship. For example, an employee works in department. So here works in is the relationship that is employee is entity 1, department is existing between employee and department entities. Okay. Works in is the relationship that is existing between employee and department entities, and works in is represented within a diamond. Okay. Now, relationship set. A set of relationships of similar type is called as relationship set. Just try to remember this. A set of relationships of similar type. So I can say, if at all I'm talking, E1 works in D1, E2 works in D2, E3 works in D3, or even E4 works in again D1. So works in is the relationship of similar type. Okay, and the similar type of relations grouped together is called as a relationship set. Okay, now whenever you're talking about relationship, there is something called as the number of participating entities. The number of participating entities in a relationship, and that number is as the degree of the relationship. That number is called as the degree of the relationship. So the degree of a relationship is termed as the number of entities that are participating in a relationship. That are participating in a relationship. Now, I've got different kinds of degrees or different kinds of relationships, sorry. So one is binary. I can say that the degree of every relationship is 2. Ternary, degree is 3. N-ary, it is of any n degree. And there's something called as unary, which is of degree 1. Unary is this is an ER model. Teacher teaches subject. Teacher teaches subject. So how many entities are participating in the relationship teaches is 2. So the degree of this particular relationship teaches is 2. Hence, this is a binary relationship. This is a binary relationship. Teacher teaches subject. The degree of teaches is 2. Hence, it is a binary relationship. Now, going with the next one. I'm talking about ternary. Talking about ternary. There is an entity called course. There is an entity called subject. There is an entity called teacher. So I've got course, subject, teacher. And in order to make the name of the relationship simple, I've taken each one of the entities' first character. So from this I've picked C, from this I've picked S, from this T. And name it as CST. You can name it as anything of your choice. But here I've taken it as CST. For this particular relationship, how many entities are participating? 3. So if at all the number of participating entities is 3, then I say that the degree of that particular relationship is 3, and it is called as a ternary relationship. It is called as a ternary relationship. Now, talking about unary, a unary relationship exists when both the participating entities are the same. Or indirectly, I can say that if at all there is only one entity that is existing in a relationship, then such relationship, we say that it is a unary relationship, or the degree of the relationship is 1. So if at all I have only one participating entity in a relationship, it is termed as a unary relationship. Example, this is my unary relationship. Student manages student. Okay, student manages student. So this is my relationship and the degree is, what is the number of participating entities over here? There is only one entity. There is only one entity. Hence, I say that this particular relationship is termed as unary relationship. Okay. Here I can say that a student can be a leader, a student can be part of a team. So the student who is a leader is managing the team, and student who is part of the team is managed by the leader. But in both the cases, the entity is student. Hence, I'm only working with a single entity. It leads to unary relationship. It leads to unary relationship. Is it clear, ma? What is unary relationship? And the last one is n-ary relationship. This is 5 because the number of participating entities over here are 5. E1, E2, E3, E4, E5. So R is a relationship and the number of participating entities are 5. So I'm telling this to be an n-ary relationship. And all these different kinds of relationships needs to be converted into a table with respect to a particular scenario, if required. Okay, the major goal would be, once you are done with creation of an ER model for a particular scenario, you have to translate that ER model into relational model, which is nothing but set of tables. So this is about the degree of a relationship. What are the different kinds of relationships that are existing with small examples? Any questions you have, ma, with respect to this? Anil, what is 3, ma? $520? What do you mean by 3 over there? Yeah, ternary is 3. If at all you have 3 participating entities, then you call that particular relationship as ternary relationship. If at all you have 2, it is binary. If at all you have 1, it is unary. Is it fine? Yes, ma. See, I put a small ER diagram with respect to a small clinic. Now, what I want you people to do is, you have to identify what are the kinds of entities, attributes that are existing in this particular ER model. So for each entity, what are the different kinds of attributes that are existing? And whether that particular entity is a weak entity or a strong entity, please try to analyze the given ER model for the next 2 to 3 minutes. Make it fast. Jagdish, how test is weak entity, Amma? How test is weak entity? And Anil, age is multi-valued. A particular patient cannot have more than one ISHMA. How you can say it is multi-valued? Yeah, according to the diagram, age is derived. I haven't, it's not a complete list. Based on the symbolism, you have to just understand that. Test results may be same for two patients is fine, ma. But name of the test is unique, he's telling. Name of the test is unique. Client, Jagdish. Yes, doctor ID is unique over there. So doctor becomes a what kind of entity? I see only 4 or 5 common names, ma. What about all the others? Five 72, 72. Now, what kind of an attribute is visit date? What kind of an attribute is visit date? Yeah, Anil, we do not have any composite attributes in the given scenario. Can you see this slide now? Single valued attributes may be common. What do you mean by that, 72? See, for different entities, I can have the same names, but they need not be common now. I can say for a patient entity and maybe a test entity, I'm taking ID common, but the values need not be common. ID attribute which is common. ID is there in patient, ID is there in test, but both the things, both the IDs of patient and test need not be common. Patient is in relation with two other entities. Yes, it's in relationship to entities. Patient is related to test and patient is related to doctor. And Anil, patient there is not an attribute, it is an entity. 520, patient is an entity over there, it is not an attribute. Is it clear, ma? Yes, entity. Now, go through this particular slide for 2 minutes. Whatever we have done, see, whenever you're working with ER model, choose the names of the attributes or entities or relationships that convey meanings. So if at all I say, I would maybe, I want a property of student which specifies the marks in a particular subject. So I can write that name in that particular way. So maybe marks underscore physics, marks underscore computers. That way I want to write. And whenever you're working with ER model, nouns usually, if at all you're given with a scenario, nouns give rise to entities and verbs give. You might be given a paragraph in simple English and asked to construct an ER model in your exam. The ways of identifying different relationships would be using the concept of verbs. And try to work with binary relationships. Try to work with binary relationships. Don't go with ternary or n-ary. And before you work with the different attributes, or before you finalize the different attributes for a particular entity, try to review all the attributes, whether they are properly framed, whether that particular attribute is feasible or correct. You have to review all that stuff. Okay. CMA, we have spoken about different types of attributes with respect to an entity. Different types of attributes with respect to an entity. Okay. Now, similar to the attributes that are present for an entity, there might be certain attributes with respect to a relationship also. There might be attributes with respect to relation also. And those attributes are termed as descriptive attributes. Try to remember this. You might even have attributes for a particular relation. You might even have attributes for a particular relation. Those kinds of attributes are termed as descriptive attributes. Descriptive attributes. Okay. And I spoke about relationship set. Similarly, you have got something called as entity set. You have something called as an entity set. So again, it is similar to relationship set. Entity set is a collection of entities of the same entity type. Entity set is a collection of entities of the same entity type. And in the student table, student is the entity type, and the rows over here that are taken over here, 2 Angel, 19 a mobile number, 4 Annalisa, 21 mobile number. So this is termed as an entity set because they are of similar entity type. E1 and E2 are of similar entity type. I'm only working two things. If at all I say I want to work with roll number 1 also, I'll make this as E3. E1, E2, E3 would be an entity set because it is of type, entity type called student. This is about your entity set. So the definition, once again, I'm just working out with, it is a collection of entities of the same entity type. Collection of entities of the same entity type. It is nothing but an entity set, and this is the example for entity set. Even I've taken only 2. So this is my entity set because it's a collection of entities of the same entity type called student over here. Okay. So that's it for today. I'll be putting a quiz. Before I actually start the quiz, you have any questions in today's class? Think for 2 minutes and put it on the chat. Any questions? Yes, ma. Any questions? This attribute is one which is describing the relationship. Ma. Descriptive attribute is one which is describing the relationship. So if at all I have an attribute with respect to a relationship, then I say that that particular attribute is called as a descriptive attribute. See, the relationship is works for. Employee works for department. Now, if at all for this particular works for relation, I put an attribute called from. Here, employee works, and that from becomes my descriptive attribute. Employee works for department from which particular date. So for this particular relationship works for, I'm putting an attribute. Hence, that particular attribute is called as your descriptive attribute. Particular relationship is called, particular attribute is called as your descriptive attribute. Is it clear, 61? Is it clear, 61? Okay. Any more questions, ma? I'm starting the PPT. Sorry, not PPT quiz. So all of you attend the quiz, ma?